He who fears death will never do anything worthy of a man who is alive, famously declared Seneca, a powerful reminder that our fears often stand in the way of living authentically. What if I told you there's a simple routine you can adopt each morning that has the power to strengthen your mind, calm your emotions, and help you face daily challenges with unwavering resolve? In today's video, we're going to dive deep into 6 transformative Stoic principles you can repeat to yourself every day, each one a potent remedy for negativity, anxiety, and self-doubt. But here's the catch. To fully tap into their life-changing power, you must watch until the very end. Only then will you discover the hidden key that can unlock a new realm of mental toughness and inner tranquility. Stoicism has guided warriors, philosophers, and leaders across centuries, enabling them to remain steadfast in the face of adversity. Now, it's your turn to harness these timeless techniques. As you watch this video, keep an open mind and be prepared for a surprising shift in your perspective. Are you ready to transform the way you think, act, and ultimately live? Your future self will thank you immensely. Number 1. I will accept hardship as a part of life. Life isn't always easy, and let's be honest, it can feel like it's constantly throwing challenges your way. You've probably faced moments where things weren't going according to plan and it felt like everything was against you. But here's the thing, this is exactly what life is. Hardships aren't something to fear or avoid. They're not obstacles that stand in your way, they are the way. Accepting hardship is key to building mental strength, and it's something the Stoics understood deeply. The ancient Stoic philosophers believed that hardship is a natural part of life, and rather than fight against it, we should embrace it. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic thinkers, once wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Let that sink in. The very challenges that feel like they're stopping you are often the things that can propel you forward if you let them. Think about this for a moment. Every time you face a struggle, you're being tested. You're being asked to rise to the occasion and prove to yourself what you're truly capable of. That tough moment is an opportunity to grow, to build resilience, and to develop a character that cannot be broken by external circumstances. Here's a thought to take with you today. Stop thinking of hardship as something to avoid. Instead, start seeing it as a signal. It's a sign that you're pushing yourself, that you're moving forward in life. Without these moments, there's no growth, no progress, no strength. It's only in the face of challenges that we truly find out what we're made of. So, how do you actually start accepting hardship instead of running from it? Let's break it down into something actionable. First, shift your mindset. When things get tough, instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask yourself, "What can I learn from this?" When you shift your focus from being a victim to being a student of life, everything changes. You start to view hardship as an inevitable, yet invaluable part of your journey. Next, embrace discomfort. It might sound counterintuitive, but growth doesn't happen in comfort. Every time you face a hardship, rather than shying away from it, step into it with courage. It doesn't matter if you don't have all the answers or if you feel uncertain. The Stoics taught that we should not fear what is out of our control. Instead, we should focus on how we respond. Every time you choose to stay calm, centered, and composed in the face of hardship, you're training yourself to become unshakable. This is the real power, the ability to choose how to respond to any situation. Another powerful practice is journaling. In moments of struggle, write down what you're feeling and thinking. Stoic thinkers like Seneca used writing as a tool to process emotions and reflect on challenges. In your journal, ask yourself questions like, "What is this situation teaching me?" Or "How can I grow from this?" Over time, you'll find that you can better understand your emotions and develop the ability to act from a place of clarity, not reaction. Finally, develop patience. The Stoics believed in the importance of patience and perseverance. They knew that enduring hardship doesn't mean immediate relief or quick solutions. Sometimes, the best thing you can do is simply endure and trust that things will pass. And when you do, you'll find that you've come out on the other side stronger and more capable. So today, remind yourself, hardship is not something to fear, it's a teacher. And the more you accept it, the stronger you become. Like Epictetus said, difficulties are things that show a person what they are. Every hardship is a chance for you to show yourself and the world who you truly are. Take a deep breath. Embrace what's difficult. Stay focused on your actions, not the outcome, and trust that you are becoming the person you were always meant to be. Number 2, I will find freedom in discipline. I know what you might be thinking. Freedom and discipline don't exactly sound like they belong in the same sentence, right? We've been taught to think of freedom as the ability to do whatever we want, whenever we want. But let's flip that perspective for a moment. What if true freedom doesn't come from abandoning structure and responsibility, but from creating a solid foundation of discipline in your life? Here's the catch. Discipline isn't about restriction or punishment. It's not about rigid rules that suffocate you. It's about creating the structure and habits that empower you to live a life with intention and purpose. And the Stoics understood this better than anyone. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most influential Stoic philosophers, once wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." Now, think about that. If you're constantly reacting to life's chaos and letting your impulses drive you, you're not really in control. True freedom, according to Stoicism, comes from mastering your own mind and actions through discipline. So how do you find freedom in discipline? First, it's about setting boundaries, not to limit you, but to create a space where you can thrive. Without boundaries, you're at the mercy of external forces. Every decision you make, every action you take becomes influenced by your environment and the world around you. But when you create your own structure, through routines, habits, and intentional decisions, you become the master of your life. You regain control, and that's when you find true freedom. Here's a simple way to start. Set clear goals. Think about what you want to achieve, not just in the long term, but each day. Every action you take should align with your goals. The Stoics believe that your actions should reflect your values, and those values should guide every part of your life. When you have a clear vision of what you want, discipline becomes a tool to help you get there, not something that weighs you down. Next, embrace the small daily habits that lead to bigger results. This is where true freedom comes in. The idea of discipline can be overwhelming when you think of it in grand terms. But if you focus on the small, everyday actions that shape your day, things like waking up early, eating healthy, working consistently on your projects, or taking time for self-reflection, you start to realize that discipline is what creates space for your freedom. The more you master your daily habits, the more you free yourself from distractions, procrastination, and the noise of the world. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." This is the essence of discipline. The more you control your actions, the more you're in control of your life. Imagine waking up each day knowing exactly what you need to do, knowing your tasks and your goals are clear. You'd have no time wasted on indecision or self-doubt. You'd be free to focus on what really matters, your growth, your purpose, your goals. But here's the tricky part: discipline takes time. It's not something that happens overnight. You won't wake up tomorrow and suddenly feel perfectly disciplined. But that's okay. The beauty of discipline is that it's a muscle that gets stronger the more you use it. If you fall off track, don't beat yourself up. Get back on course and keep moving forward. As Seneca put it, it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. So the more disciplined you become, the more you use that time wisely. And in turn, you gain the freedom to live the life you want. To make this practical, let's add one last piece. Create a daily routine. This could be as simple as starting your day with a clear set of priorities, maybe a morning routine that sets the tone for the rest of the day, like a few minutes of meditation, a short workout, or reviewing your goals. The point isn't about creating the perfect routine. It's about having something that anchors you and keeps you moving forward. Each time you show up for your daily habits, you're reinforcing the discipline that leads to freedom. And remember, discipline isn't about perfection. It's about consistency. Small, steady actions done day after day will unlock the freedom you've been searching for. So today, start looking at discipline as your ally. It's not something that holds you back. It's the key that unlocks the door to the life you've always wanted. Be patient with yourself, but also be persistent. Freedom doesn't come from avoiding responsibility. It comes from mastering it. Your future self will thank you for it. Number 3, I will detach from the opinions of others. Imagine this. You wake up, start your day, and instantly feel the weight of the world's opinions on your shoulders. It's as though everyone around you has something to say about how you should be, what you should do, and who you should be. Sound familiar? It's easy to get caught up in the opinions of others. They come from every direction: family, friends, colleagues, social media, even strangers. The pressure can feel overwhelming. But here's the truth: those opinions are not your truth. In fact, the Stoics understood this better than anyone. They believed that to live a life of freedom and peace, you must detach yourself from the opinions of others. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher, said it perfectly. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. And that reaction, my friend, starts with how much weight you give to the opinions of others. The real freedom comes when you stop allowing other people's thoughts and judgments to define who you are. Why? Because the truth is, people's opinions are based on their own experiences, biases, and limitations. They see the world through their own lens, not yours. And if you live by their standards, you'll never truly feel free. You'll always be chasing something that's out of your control. Here's the hard truth: you will never be able to please everyone. There will always be someone who disagrees, criticizes, or has an opinion about your life. And guess what? That's okay. The Stoics believed that what you can control is how much you allow their opinions to affect you. You are in charge of your own life, your own path, and your own values. So how do you detach from others' opinions? Let's start by shifting your mindset. First, acknowledge that others' opinions are not facts. Just because someone thinks or says something doesn't mean it's true. It's simply their perspective. If you let every opinion shape your behavior, you'll end up living a life that's not your own. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." The key is understanding that opinions are outside events. They don't define you unless you allow them to. Next, define your own values and stick to them. The Stoics focused on virtue as the highest goal, living a life that aligns with wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance. When you have a clear sense of who you are and what you stand for, other people's opinions become less important. You stop questioning yourself every time someone offers unsolicited advice or judgment. Your values act as your anchor. Whenever you feel swayed by others, take a moment to reflect on what truly matters to you. Does their opinion align with your values? If not, let it go. Now practice emotional detachment. This doesn't mean you become cold or indifferent to others. It means you create space between their opinions and your emotional reactions. When someone criticizes you or offers their opinion, take a deep breath. Pause before reacting. Ask yourself, is this something that is within my control? Is this opinion in line with my values? If the answer is no, then let it go. Focus on your actions, not their words. This practice is key to not letting the opinions of others steer you off course. A powerful exercise you can start today is journaling your thoughts. Every time you feel bothered or affected by someone's opinion, write it down. Reflect on why it triggered you. Was it fear of judgment? Was it insecurity? By writing down your feelings, you can start to dissect the root cause of why you're giving so much weight to others' views. Over time, you'll begin to recognize patterns and realize that these opinions have less power over you than you think. Lastly, remind yourself that you can't control others' thoughts or actions. You can't make everyone like you, approve of you, or agree with you. And that's okay. It's not your job to win everyone's approval. It's your job to be true to yourself. By accepting that others will have their opinions, but you don't need to internalize them, you free yourself from the constant pressure of trying to meet everyone's expectations. Remember what Epictetus said, "What other people think of you is none of your business." Focus on your own life. Focus on your own growth. And the more you detach from the need for validation, the more you'll find peace and freedom in simply being who you are. So today, take a step back from the noise. Recognize that the only opinion that truly matters is your own. Be true to your values, stay centered, and remember, you are not here to please others. You are here to live a life true to yourself. And that, my friend, is where real freedom lies. Number 4, I will transform fear into growth. Let's talk about fear. It's something we all deal with, no matter where we are in life. It creeps in when we face something uncertain, when we step into the unknown, or when we're about to take a leap we've never taken before. You've probably felt it more times than you can count. Those moments where your heart races, your mind spirals, and everything inside of you just wants to pull back, to retreat to what's familiar. But here's the thing. Fear is not your enemy. In fact, fear is one of the most powerful tools you have for growth, if you choose to see it that way. The Stoics knew this. They didn't shy away from fear. They understood that fear is a natural response, but it's also a sign that you're stretching, expanding, and challenging yourself. Marcus Aurelius said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." In other words, the things that scare you, the obstacles you're afraid of, aren't there to hold you back, they're there to push you forward. Think about it. Every time you face something scary and choose to step through it anyway, you grow. Every time you take action in spite of fear, you're stretching your boundaries. You're proving to yourself that you are bigger than your fear. And the Stoics believed that it's through these very challenges that you discover your true strength. But how do you actually transform that fear into growth? Let's break it down and make it actionable for you. 1. Acknowledge that fear is natural. First things first, accept that fear is part of the process. It's not something to get rid of. It's not something to resist. When you start a new project, take on a new challenge, or push yourself outside your comfort zone, fear is going to show up. And that's okay. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, "It's not things themselves that disturb us, but our opinions about them." Fear in itself isn't a problem. It's how you react to it that matters. Instead of fearing fear itself, embrace it as a sign that you're on the right path. Fear means you're growing. Fear means you're evolving. 2. Reframe your fear into a source of motivation. The next step is to reframe your fear. Fear can easily paralyze us, but what if you started seeing it as a signal that something important is at stake? When you feel fear rise up, instead of thinking, "I can't do this," try thinking, "This fear means I'm about to learn something important." Use fear as fuel. Let it spark your curiosity. Let it be the fire that pushes you to take action rather than the wall that holds you back. When you shift your perspective, fear becomes a driving force instead of a roadblock. 3. Take small, intentional steps. When fear feels overwhelming, it can be helpful to break it down. Rather than trying to tackle everything at once, take small, manageable steps toward whatever is scaring you. Every small action you take builds momentum, and with each step, fear loses its power. The Stoics believed in focusing on what is within your control. You can't control the outcome of every situation, but you can control the effort you put in. So, take one step at a time. Show up, keep moving forward, and soon enough, you'll realize that what once seemed terrifying is now something you can handle. 4. Practice the premeditation of evils. Here's a powerful Stoic exercise that can help you with fear: premeditation of evils. It sounds intense, but it's really just about mentally preparing yourself for what could go wrong. Instead of avoiding worst-case scenarios, think about them. What's the worst that could happen? If you're afraid of failure, ask yourself, what's the worst thing that could happen if I fail? What would I learn from it? How would I recover? This mental exercise doesn't make fear go away, but it takes its power away. You realize that, even in the worst case, you will survive and you will learn. And that, my friend, is growth. 5. Take action, even when you don't feel ready. Finally, just do it. The most powerful way to transform fear into growth is through action. Fear thrives in inaction. The longer you avoid something because you're afraid, the stronger that fear becomes. But when you take action, even when you're scared, you prove to yourself that fear doesn't have control over you. As Seneca said, it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. Don't waste time letting fear dictate your actions. Take the step, make the call, start the project. Fear will always be there, but you don't have to let it stop you. So today, embrace your fear. Understand that it's not a sign of weakness. It's a sign that you're pushing your limits. Reframe it, take small steps, and take action. Because when you do, fear doesn't hold you back, it propels you forward. The more you face fear head-on, the stronger and more resilient you become. And that's where the real growth happens. You've got this. Number 5, I will embrace what I cannot change. Let's face it, life can feel chaotic. Sometimes things happen that throw us off course, challenge our peace of mind, and make us feel completely out of control. Maybe something unexpected happens, or maybe you're just stuck in a situation that feels impossible to change. And in those moments, the easiest thing to do is to get frustrated, angry, or anxious. But here's the truth. Fighting against what you can't change only drains your energy. The Stoics understood this principle deeply. They taught that peace comes not from controlling every aspect of your life, but from accepting and embracing what you can't control. Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic philosopher and emperor, wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." What does that mean for you? It means that while you can't control the world around you, you have complete control over how you respond to it. And that, my friend, is where true freedom lies. You see, when you spend your energy trying to change things beyond your control, you're wasting it. You're exhausting yourself. But when you shift your mindset and embrace the reality that there are things you can't change, you give yourself the power to focus on what you can control: your response, your actions, and your peace of mind. So how do you actually start embracing what you can't change? Let's break it down. 1. Recognize what you can and can't control. The first step is understanding the difference. The Stoics were masters of distinguishing between what is in their control and what is. You can control your thoughts, your actions, and your attitudes. You cannot control other people's behavior, the weather, or even the timing of certain events in your life. Once you get clear on what you can control and what you can't, it becomes easier to let go of the things that don't serve you. Take a moment right now and think about the things that are currently weighing on your mind. Are there any situations where you're frustrated because things aren't going your way? Ask yourself, can I change this? If the answer is no, then accept it. Stop fighting it. Shift your focus to what you can change: your mindset, your actions, your goals. 2. Practice acceptance, not resignation. Now, accepting what you can't change doesn't mean giving up or resigning yourself to a life of passivity. It's not about saying, "Oh, well, There's nothing I can do about it, so I'll just sit here and do nothing. That's resignation, not acceptance. True Stoic acceptance is about acknowledging what is without letting it define you or ruin your peace. It's about choosing to move forward with calmness and grace, regardless of the external circumstances. When something happens that you can't change, pause, take a deep breath, and remind yourself, "This is outside my control. I accept it and I will focus on what I can do next." It's that simple. The more you practice this, the more peace you'll experience. 3. Reframe your mindset. This is where the real shift happens. Instead of seeing the inability to change something as a burden, try to see it as an opportunity. The Stoics believed that hardship and challenges were a natural part of life. They weren't something to avoid, but something to embrace. In fact, they saw these situations as opportunities for growth. So when something doesn't go your way, instead of getting upset, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can this help me grow? Maybe it's teaching you patience, resilience, or the importance of flexibility. Every time you embrace what you cannot change, you're growing stronger in your ability to adapt and thrive no matter what life throws at you. 4. Take responsibility for your reactions. Here's something important. While you can't control external events, you can control how you respond to them. Your reaction is your choice. In fact, this is the most powerful thing you can control. So, instead of letting frustration or anger take over when things go wrong, take a moment to reflect. Choose to respond with calm, with grace, and with understanding. You might not be able to change what happened, but you can always choose how you face it. Start by practicing emotional awareness. When something happens that you can't change, take a deep breath and ask yourself, how do I want to respond to this? What's the best way for me to handle this situation? Over time, you'll find that you become less reactive and more centered, no matter what's going on around you. 5. Focus on the present. It's so easy to get caught up in worrying about the future or ruminating on the past, but both of these are beyond your control. What you do have control over is the present moment. So, when you catch yourself stressing about something you can't change, bring yourself back to the now. Focus on what you can do today in this moment. Remember, as Marcus Aurelius said, don't waste time on what you can't control. The more you focus on the present, the more you'll find that the things outside of your control have much less power over your emotions. Embrace the here and now, and you'll feel more at peace. 6. Let go and trust the process. Finally, embrace the idea of letting go. There are some things that no matter how much you fight or worry, will never change. Trust that life has a way of unfolding as it should, and your role is simply to move through it with grace. When you embrace the things you can't change, you free yourself from unnecessary stress and frustration. So today, let go of the need to control everything around you. Accept what you can't change and focus on your own actions and responses. This practice will bring you peace, calm, and a deep sense of freedom. Because in the end, true control lies not in changing everything around you, but in changing how you respond to it. Number 6, I will cultivate inner peace. Inner peace. It's something we all crave, yet it often feels just out of reach. We live in a world that's constantly moving, constantly demanding our attention. Noise, distractions, stress, and pressures, these are the things that cloud our minds. But here's the truth. Inner peace isn't something you find outside of yourself. It's something you create from within. The Stoics understood this deeply. They knew that true peace doesn't come from avoiding life's challenges or trying to control the chaos around you. True peace comes from how you respond to the world, how you choose to cultivate stillness and calm in the midst of it all. As Epictetus, a great Stoic philosopher, once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." So, how do you cultivate inner peace in a world that seems to thrive on chaos? It's simple, but not always easy. It's about shifting your mindset, creating space for calm, and intentionally choosing peace over panic, stillness over stress. Let's break it down into actionable steps you can take today to begin cultivating that inner peace you've been searching for. 1. Start by embracing stillness. In a world that never stops, stillness can feel like a luxury, but it's actually a necessity. The Stoics were all about cultivating stillness of mind because they knew that peace starts from within. That means taking time each day to slow down, breathe, and just be. Whether it's 5 minutes of meditation, a quiet walk, or simply sitting in silence, make stillness a non-negotiable part of your day. You don't need to wait for everything to slow down around you. You can create your own moments of calm. So, whenever you feel overwhelmed or scattered, pause, close your eyes, take a deep breath. Remind yourself that you have the power to bring peace to your mind, even in the busiest of moments. 2. Practice acceptance of what you cannot change. One of the most powerful ways to cultivate inner peace is to accept what you can't change. The Stoics believed that peace comes from letting go of the need to control everything around you. Instead of resisting the things that are outside of your control, choose to accept them. When you stop fighting against reality, you free yourself from unnecessary stress. Take a moment right now to reflect. What's something in your life that you've been fighting or stressing over? Can you change it? If not, try this. Accept it. Not as resignation, but as a way to free yourself from the emotional weight of trying to control it. The more you practice acceptance, the lighter you'll feel. 3. Let go of the need for approval. A huge source of stress is the constant desire for approval or validation from others. Whether it's from family, friends, or colleagues, we often feel like we need to meet others' expectations in order to feel worthy or at peace. But here's the thing, you are already enough. Remember what Marcus Aurelius said, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. When you stop looking outside of yourself for validation, you'll discover that peace doesn't come from others' opinions. It comes from the way you think about yourself. Practice focusing on your own values, your own sense of worth, and let go of the need to please everyone around you. Inner peace comes from within, not from external approval. 4. Focus on what is in your control. There are so many things outside your control, other people's actions, the past, the future, even the weather. But here's the good news. You have full control over your actions, your mindset, and your responses. Instead of stressing over what you can't control, redirect your focus to what you can control. You have the power to choose your actions, your responses, and your attitude. Every day, ask yourself, what can I control today? Focus on that. When you pour your energy into the things that are within your control, you'll start to feel a sense of calm and direction. You'll stop feeling like a victim of your circumstances and start feeling like the creator of your own peace. 5. Practice gratitude daily. Gratitude is one of the quickest ways to shift your mindset and bring peace to your life. When you focus on what you already have, rather than what you lack, it creates a sense of contentment. Instead of getting caught up in what's going wrong, take a moment each day to reflect on what's going right. Every morning or evening, write down 3 things you're grateful for. It doesn't matter how big or small they are, just focus on the positive. This practice will help you see that, even in the midst of challenges, there is always something to be thankful for. Gratitude has the power to shift your mindset from frustration to peace. 6. Practice detachment from outcomes. One of the core Stoic principles is to practice detachment from the outcome. What this means is that you can work hard, put in effort, and do your best, but you must release the need for things to turn out exactly the way you expect. The world doesn't always go as planned, and that's okay. True peace comes from accepting that things may not go the way you want and being okay with that. Detach from the outcome. Focus on your actions and let go of the need to control the results. When you stop attaching your peace to external outcomes, you'll start to feel a sense of calm, regardless of what happens. 7. Be patient with yourself. Finally, remember that cultivating inner peace is a journey, not a destination. It's not something that happens overnight. Be patient with yourself. Whenever you feel yourself getting caught up in stress or anxiety, remind yourself that peace is a practice. You don't have to get it perfect. Just keep showing up and doing the work. As Seneca wisely said, we suffer more in imagination than in reality. The more you practice these steps, the more natural inner peace will become. Be patient and trust the process. In the end, inner peace isn't about creating a perfect life. It's about how you handle life's imperfections. It's about choosing calm over chaos, acceptance over resistance, and gratitude over stress. So today, take a moment to breathe, let go of what you can't control, and embrace the peace that's already within you. And that's a wrap on 6 things to tell yourself everyday Stoicism. Remember, these aren't just words to repeat, they're principles to live by. Each day, choose to embrace them and watch how your mindset and life start to transform. Stoicism isn't about avoiding challenges, it's about how you respond to them. So keep practicing, stay focused, and let these teachings guide you toward a more peaceful, resilient, and purposeful life. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more content on personal growth and Stoic wisdom, and drop a comment below sharing which of these principles you're going to start applying today. Until next time, keep growing and remember, your mind is your greatest ally.